Good morning, guys. It's Chris from daxtrader.co.uk, and it's Friday, 15th of September 2017. Let's take a look at the Dax Technical Analysis for today. Before we get started, same as we usually do, just quickly to read out the trading disclaimer. Trading financial markets is risky, involving the risk of losing our invested money. These webinars are provided for educational purposes only. No investment advice is provided. So if you decide to enter a trade on the back of any of these videos or webinars, then please do so entirely at your own risk. All right, if you're watching this video on YouTube, then in order to get access to the resources and the article on the website, go to daxtrader.co.uk. You'll need to subscribe to a free account, and it's nice and easy to do that. Just click on the register option here, and you'll be able to do that. If you want to get access to the other parts of the website as a premium member, then you can subscribe to that, and you get access to things like the journal, the live room, the chat room, and the trade notifications as well. All right, so let's get started. First of all, take a look at the economic calendar, and let's just load that up now. A lot of stuff came out yesterday, obviously from the Bank of England. Not really any changes, 7-2 in favor of holding rates unchanged, but we had, of course, quite a lot of hints that there's going to be a rate change in November. So that's strengthening the pound, and as a result, it's taken a hit on the FTSE as well. Today, we have had a bit of news that's come out, which will potentially affect the markets, mainly the explosion at London's I think it was Green Park Station, or Parsons Green Tube Station. Here we go. And of course, we've got North Korea testing missiles overnight as well. So maybe the market's getting a little bit bored of this now because nothing's really changing. It's just become kind of the status quo that they're just going to defy UN sanctions and all the rest of it. But it's still pretty devastating to have this looming over, and I'm surprised that it hasn't had more of an impact on the markets, if I'm honest. But as far as the economic calendar for today, got retail sales at US later on this afternoon. If we bring down the medium impact stuff for today, then we've got, in about 10 minutes time, some news coming out, labor costs and trade balances, and a bit more around the retail sales, industrial production in the US as well. Keep an eye on that. But it's Friday, guys, and it's quite an important day for today because I think we're switching contracts over. We're going to be trading now on the December contract on futures. So I need to set my charts up this one because I've noticed that it didn't keep my previous indicators. So that was a schoolboy error on my part. Anyway, so let's go and have a look at the charts then. So on the DAX, really, I mean, I can summarize it quite quickly already. We're trading in a range. We're in a sort of an accumulation cycle at the moment, narrow sideways range with a little bit of boredom creeping in there. The main part to consider really is, would you want to be going long at the moment with all of that resistance directly above? But also, would you want to be shorting at the moment, considering the strength of this bullish move? So you do have that kind of almost perfect balance between the sentiment leading to this sideways movement. So on the TPO, we've got this narrow range boxed in here, and the move I'd like to see is something like that line. Okay, nice deep pullback towards the gap would be good from Monday. Take out the Monday's point of control. Perhaps test the opening part of that gap before heading higher, and that would be a nice entry for me personally. But we'll see what happens there. When you get this kind of grouping here, it's interesting to trade a break. You just got to be careful of traps. What I mean by that is, if you think to yourself, right, well, if I get a break above this, I'm just going to go long. If I get a break below that, I'm going to go short. You can definitely do that, but you've got to be careful because sometimes it can do that. So you take the long, it then reverses, you're then held in a position, you get out at the bottom, and then it reverses and turns around again. So it can play tricks a little bit. So you've got to be careful playing strategies like that. Doesn't always work out. But if I was to kind of pick, I would like to be trying to head up towards the extended measure move target, around about 12,800 from lower levels. Still interested in that. Okay, these blue lines are points of control that are naked, that have not yet been touched from previous day's price action. And we've got one directly above us around about the 12,600 level. So if we do take a break higher here, that's a potential area to spot for a trap for sellers to actually send this lower. You've got to be careful with that. Okay, on the daily chart, I've tidied that up a little bit from yesterday, and the main thing that's staying is the fork, as it's still valid, and we're looking for a touch of this median line here, which is currently around about 12,800. But I feel that we need a little bit of a pullback. The best entry would have been way down here at 11.8. No, it wouldn't. It would have been about 12,070-ish. That would have been a nice 3-to-1 move. And that was the spot to obviously get in on this, but a lot of people obviously didn't do that. The blue line here is just kind of connecting a few dots. These two lows here, going through that wide range bar there, catching a switchback there, and then gapping almost above it here. That would be a nice area to kind of retest for a potential long. And that's at around about 12.4 at the moment. So that looks interesting. But still in this bullish phase, if you like, on the longer term time frame, rather than ignoring current price action for the last 3 days. So we looked at this chart once already, but yep, that's the reasons that are kind of the sellers are getting a little bit interested, because you've got 4 or 5 different reasons to say that we're reaching a top at the moment, short term at least. And those in the summary, you've got an extension from the ABC, Fibonacci extension tool, gives us an level of around about 570. You've got a reaction line here, so you pull a parallel between these, this point here, this point there, and that's your action line down the bottom. And then the opposite parallel is the reaction line up here, and that's at about 573. Got a previous point of ignition. If we look left all the way back in July, that's at around about 572, 573. And we've got a fifth wave. So starting at the bottom, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a few different reasons there, which would maybe make me think that going long at the current level might not be the best play. And waiting too long for a pullback is at the risk of being patient at the moment. Okay. I'm looking at coding a breakout indicator for this particular strategy here. I won't go into too much detail on that at the moment, but these shaded boxes here are indicating some potential zones that look interesting if you wanted to take a long. And this shaded box at the top is a position that might be interesting to short. Can probably add another one near a 600 as well. But at the moment, trading sideways, I mean, yeah, you could trade a range. You could be looking to sell at the top, buy the bottom. And that will work, obviously, until you get a breakout. But very sleepy at the moment. And on the 50-tick chart, I had a couple of tests of this little level here. And it's holding at the moment. So that seems to be a decent buy zone. It just turns out to be the gap from this morning's open. As far as intraday price action goes, not really a great deal. Still trading above VWAP at the moment, looking to kind of test that right now as we speak. After crossing through the deviation high a couple of times already this morning. We're still inside the opening 2-hour initial balance. And yeah, trading sideways. Not much really to report on today, guys. So strategies, what can you do? So 440 are interesting levels for me at the moment. So I'm interesting at levels of 12.6 or 12.570 for a short, but it's high risk. So you've got to be really, really careful with your leverage. And longs interested from somewhere in the region of 12.4480, 12.440, and 12.400. They look interesting as well. Okay. That's pretty much it, guys. Quick update on the other two markets. So the FTSE is clearly, I don't understand how that's saying bullish. So I think it's I'm going to ignore that because the settings are not quite right, but it's clearly bearish, and we've had that breakthrough yesterday. The news from this morning is obviously not going to help things either. The explosion in the station, but this is still kind of a continuation, momentum-based move based off the back of the news from yesterday from the Bank of England. So it's a case of watching the S&P 500 as well. I mean, it's really looking to try and get that 2,500 level, isn't it? It's not able to get there just yet, but it does look like that. I'm also kind of bullish on gold, looking to try to get long on gold, and bullish on oil, and got a couple of setups sitting around for FTSE and the S&P 500 today as well. Finally, just before we wrap up for today, the cryptocurrency world. So look at that. Wow, that's incredibly bearish today. And we've tanked overnight and from yesterday as well. Portfolio's down at 362. Haven't seen those levels for a little while. Haven't changed anything at all, although yesterday I did buy more Litecoin. And that's on my in my wallet. Where do I think we're going to head? Your guess is as good as mine, but I'd imagine 2,500 is a target that seems to be picked out by quite a lot of people. 2,750 to 2,500, somewhere in that zone. And where would I want to buy Bitcoin? Probably not at that level. I'd probably actually not want to part with one until it gets into either starts with a 1, somewhere around that level. All right, guys. So that's kind of everything done. Quick summary, not really much more to say other than we're trading sideways, trapped in that range, waiting for a breakout. I'd like to get long up to 12,800, but I'm looking for an entry somewhere in that region, if not lower. If you're looking for scalp entries, there are a couple of them available. And if you wanted a scalp short, then those levels look interesting. But see what you think. There we go, guys. Have a good weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Take care. Catch up with you later.